Hey, welcome to this edition of the Ruralpreneur Podcast. Today, my guest is Zach Francis. Zach has a host of experience being an entrepreneur, from web properties to construction experience, and even the host of an HGTV show. So, without further ado, Zach, welcome to the podcast.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me, Tan. Super excited to be here today and share a little bit of our experience and whatnot, and also just chat with you and hang out. It's awesome to
Yeah,
be on the podcast.
awesome. So, tell us a little bit of your background. Kind of give us a brief story about your journey up to today.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, my name is Zach Francis, and my brother Jason Francis. We pretty much do everything together. We are often called the Francis brothers and so on, but we grew up with our father as a contractor, and he would often build build homes, build duplexes, and then keep them as rentals. And so he started teaching us how to do that when we were in high school, and we did that for a while. And we were building some homes and whatnot, and then we kind of jumped into the tiny house game, and we decided that we would start building some tiny homes. And we took the more luxury side of tiny homes, and so when we built our first one, he got picked up by a lot of publications and so on. And so caught the attention of HGTV, like you had mentioned. And next thing we knew, we had a TV show on our family business, building tiny homes. And it was a fun run. We did it for about 4 years. And we built tiny homes for like 5 years, over 100 custom tiny homes. And we had like 50 employees. And it was the full deal there and whatnot. But it was definitely taking a toll on us. And we both had gotten married and started having kids and so on with our family. And so we decided that we would step away from manufacturing tiny homes. And so in like 2019, we stepped away from manufacturing tiny homes. That was our full-time thing that we were doing at the time, and took all of our energy and effort. But what we realized is, even though we didn't love the manufacturing side of it, we did love the branding and the marketing, and really just kind of bringing in those core followers around our brand. And so from there, we decided to jump into online business, and we call it experimenting. So we did a handful of different types of businesses online, everything from trying to sell stationery on Amazon, to selling instant coffee, to different content websites and so on. So we've been working at that for a while, and one of the properties that we had was tinyhouse.com. And so we built that up, and through COVID decided to do some events with it. And so we started throwing some online events, and it was definitely cool to see that grow. And it seemed like every single time we put energy and effort into tinyhouse.com, we saw actual traction, where some of the other businesses, it wasn't as obvious. And so, we decided to put our energy kind of where we were seeing progress there, and
Right.
really been kind of growing that since. And that's kind of one of the main things that we're working on right now. But we also have a few different irons in the fire as well. So
Yeah, awesome. So, pretty cool story. Kind of been through a few different things there. Tell me more about outside of tinyhouse.com though. Tell me a little bit about what else you're involved in.
yeah, for sure. So few different businesses, but one of the main ones that we're loving right now is called Magic Blog, and it's an AI article writer. So you can jump on a Chat GPT and ask it to write you an article, but it's not going to be very well refined. And if you said, like, write me an article about mountain biking, it'll spit out an article for you, but it's not going to be very specific about what you're looking for, even keywords or anything like that. And even though you can tell it to refine, you can refine ChatGPT's article and so on, it just takes a lot more time to kind of refine that as well. And so there's a lot of different prompting engineering that you can do on the back end through an API connection as well. And so we're really honing that in, refining the exact prompt engineering to where when you ask when you ask Magic Blog to write you an article, it spits out an actually really well written article based kind of on the topics that you had specified and so on. And you have a lot of customability inside of it as well. So once it spits out the article, it's actually like a living document. And so you can
Yeah.
highlight different things. You can change it. You can ask it to write more, write less. You can type in it right there. You can add photos and everything. So it's kind of the whole one-stop shop for being able to create your articles. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, AI is kind of the big thing right now that everybody's talking about, especially in the online kind of e-commerce world. And lots of AI tools are popping up here and there to do specific tasks such as this. So, what makes you think that AI is something that can can help business owners, or why it's a proper tool to use? I know there's a lot of people who I talk to today are still very um I guess, concerned about the power of AI and what it can do, and maybe a little fearful of the technology. And but I've seen a lot of good, promising uh, results that can come from utilizing AI properly. So, kind of, what are you seeing in that space, and how do you see the technology being able to help entrepreneurs as they look to grow their business?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the main and most obvious ways that AI can help you grow your business is obviously just by time saving techniques and so on. And that's really one of our challenges that we've had, me and my brother, when we've been trying to build our different businesses, is we'd always seem like we were running out of time, and we just didn't have the time to do everything to the best of our ability and really capture the attention of our audience and so on. And I think that's something that AI can do really well, is it can save you time in specific areas, such as, creating articles like that. That's a pretty clear and obvious uh, area that AI can actually just speed up. It can do like 90%, 80% of the heavy lifting. And it's always good to put your own personal touch on the articles and so on. But for the most part, you definitely can create a pretty comparable article to what humans can write with AI, and with very minimal energy and effort and put into it. And so I think there's also a lot of other AI tools out there that can help people who are trying to grow their business, and they don't have enough cash to just go hire a full team, which is definitely one of the constricting factors. Whereas with AI, you can actually utilize it to speed up what you need to do, and or get the job done, or just have an how to have automation just making the tasks happen. So
Right, right. Yeah, one of the things is I talk to entrepreneurs all over the place, and then also in my time as an entrepreneur, had people asking me, living in a small town, a lot of times they would say, "Well, how do you find people who know how to run Facebook ads or to manage email marketing or SEO?" Most of those people don't live out here in a rural community, et cetera. Most of them are in the larger cities and things of that nature. And one of the shifts that I see that can kind of help fill this void outside of just remote work, remote staffing, is, entrepreneurs in these small towns and rural communities can leverage AI to accomplish some of these tasks that maybe, they couldn't find people who knew how to, maybe they couldn't find copywriters in their small town, or maybe they didn't have, or maybe they didn't need a full-time copywriter, right? But they need assistance with it from time to time. And I think that's where AI can help fill the gap, as long as we know how to talk to it. And so your tool obviously has already kind of laid out that framework and that baseline for talking to AI, where really the entrepreneur, the user of the tool, can simply, pop in what they want to talk about, and that tool really helps them get, like you said, three-fourths of the way there, and then they just have to go in and finish it with their own voice. So, I mean, I think it's really beneficial for entrepreneurs who do live in rural communities to take AI and harness it for their business growth. So, now tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, you and your brother, you guys grew up in a small town as well in Oregon.
yeah, I grew up a bit outside of Portland, Oregon, so up in that kind of northwest area of the U.S. But yeah, in a small town, just born and raised here, and spent our whole life growing up here and whatnot. When I got married, moved a couple blocks away from my parents into a fixer upper, and my brother's just a few blocks away as well. So we're all right in that small town feel, which is amazing. It's awesome being able to walk to a family, each other's homes, and so on. So yeah, really, really thankful for the community that we've been able to have here in this small town. And it's nothing, you know, we didn't ever actually go off to college or anything like that. And so just born and raised here and know everybody around and all that. But
Yeah.
definitely done some different traveling and whatnot. We went on a sailing trip from San Diego to Australia when we were in high school. And so
Wow.
that was like a 9 month trip. So pretty much finished up high school early, and just jumped on a sailboat with my father and my brother and mother and a few friends and whatnot, and just went sailing and hit up the South Pacific and all the different island groups down through there. And so that definitely
Wow.
gave us a different perspective on life, and not just looking at kind of going the traditional route of just going and getting a career and then going and getting a degree and then getting a career after that, just working for a company. But it made us see kind of the opportunities that you can have if you have a little more control of your own work schedule and so on. So
Yeah,
I was
no, that's
definitely.
amazing. I think that's cool though. You're in a small town. You're working with your family, with your brother. You're managing web properties. You've got artificial intelligence tools. You've had a TV show. You've done contract. You've done all of that in a small town, and once again, it just shows how it is possible. Maybe you have to think outside the box and maneuver a little bit differently than folks in larger cities. But it's really cool to see what's possible. And as technology continues to advance and progress, it only opens up more opportunities for people like us who want to maintain this quality of life, like you mentioned, being able to walk down to your friends or your family's homes and not having that big traffic buildup and all of that. So I really like that. I think that's a really cool story. So tell me then, as a part of this journey, tell me kind of that one pivotal moment in your entrepreneurial journey that really kind of made you realize either that entrepreneurship was for you, or that maybe you knew that this was what you were meant to do. Kind of give us that life changing moment, that story that changed things for you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I feel like there's been a few different kind of stepping stones throughout the journey and whatnot. Kind of like I said, my father had raised us, and we always were on the job sites with him, helping build with him and so on. And he always did it as a small operation, pretty much just himself and sometimes one other guy. And he was able to give us a childhood like none of our friends, and so we were able to just hang out with him a lot, and so spend a ton of time with him. When he wasn't working, he had flexibility and so on, which really was important to us, especially once we started having our own kids and so on. We definitely, I feel like we've been through the ringer a few different times, like through building tiny homes, and like I said, having those 50 employees. It's not like it's always just on it's not just always easy, and sometimes you're running out of cash flow and you're struggling to know what to do next, and you just gotta trust and know that like it's gonna work out basically. But at the same time, it doesn't always work out the same way that you're expecting, and so we feel like we've taken a lot of hard punches on the nose, and we've been knocked back quite a few times. But throughout all that, it's only basically made us like more excited, more hungry to get to the point where we do have some of those wins and really get that on that the other side of the mountain, basically, where it's not quite as the daily struggle. It's still, you're still able to be in the arena, but not quite always getting the underdogs type of thing.
Yeah,
And with that, I think once we got out of building tiny homes, we really realized that the online branding and the marketing and kind of creating that brand presence it was so exciting. It was really fun, and it was definitely something that none of our friends in our direct circle were really doing. There's a few different like advisors that we had done it before us, and we would love to just go meet up with them. And so we'd oftentimes just pick one person like every other week and just go to lunch with them and just go chat with them and see how they did it, see what they had to say about it, and tell them kind of where we were thinking that we are headed and what we are up to, and get their feedback. And that was definitely super impactful for us, and we're super grateful and thankful for all of the different advisors and people in our lives who are a few steps ahead of us, that were willing to just sit down with us and just hear what we're up to, and give us some good wisdom and so on. And yeah, so definitely, I think when we got out of building the tiny homes, we basically just took the leap, and we're like, man, we're no matter how long it takes, we're gonna stick at this. And it was pretty pivotal having each other who we could work together, and being able to bounce ideas off each other and just go through the grind, the entrepreneur up and down every single day and whatnot. But yeah, it definitely probably would have to be when we realized that like branding, marketing, and that brand presence was something that we really felt like was like the most exciting thing to wake up in the morning and get after it and just start like trying to create something out of nothing. It's just
Yeah.
like it's pretty exciting. So
No, I can relate to that because, and I don't know that you and I have talked about this much off this podcast, but I come from a manufacturing background as well. Not construction, but manufacturing and signage and stuff. And I closed that business, and now I'm in the digital marketing and branding space as well, and I can relate to that. I realized that my strengths and my talents and my desires were around online brand building and marketing, and that's what I enjoy doing. I got excited about it. I am excited about it still today. And just getting out of a space that wasn't as much fun and getting into something that I really got passionate and excited about for me was one of my pivotal moments in my journey. All right. And so I can definitely relate to that and understand how your mindset kind of shifted, especially after you realize what you enjoy doing. That makes everything so much more fun, and I think overall makes you better at it, because if you enjoy what you're doing, you're gonna most likely do it with excellence and more, vigor and energy, however you want to describe that. So
absolutely, yeah. We like to say that over the past probably like 8 years, we've been learning what we don't like to do so that we can
yeah,
refine to do exactly what we do like. So
yeah, I
yeah.
hear you. All right. Well, going into kind of the last segment of this will be I wanted to see if you have a marketing tactic or strategy that you could share with the audience, something that you've applied in your business to help you grow and scale your business. And, not a tool that we pay a monthly subscription to or something like that, but, just an actual, like, a mindset thing that helps you approach growth and scaling your business on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, man. Well, one thing that we like to kind of throw around and talk about often is we call it creating more opportunities. That's something that more or less a lot of marketing is all about, is creating those opportunities to get in front of people, to network with people and connect with people, and that might lead to another opportunity there. And I think creating those opportunities where it's like, you know, even it's this type of thing where I'm on a podcast with you and being able to share my story with some other people, and possibly some of them might reach out or jump on to something that we're doing or whatnot. And I think that sometimes people can just be head down and they can just be focused on either building their product or just one line of marketing, one kind of channel. And that it can be good for sure at certain times and certain seasons throughout the business, but it definitely is a time where you need to kind of cast a wide net of your marketing strategies. And when something actually sticks, when you see progress in a certain area, it's important to kind of chase after that opportunity that's there. And so yeah, definitely kind of creating opportunities and not being afraid to really actually get behind what you're doing. And when you're in a small town, it's important to be all about your product, and nobody else is going to be more excited about what you're doing than yourself. And so if you're not actually like proud of what you're doing, if you're not excited about it, other people will catch on to that too, and they won't really take it super seriously and so on. So I think yeah, creating more opportunities and just getting being sold out for your own product and whatever business that you're doing, just being really excited about it and whatnot. I think that's really important. So
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. Why would somebody else be excited about your product or your service if you're not?
yeah,
It's like it's got to start with you. So, I mean, I
yeah,
totally get that. And I also like creating more opportunities, always creating opportunities. I mean, I think that that's, like you said, collaborations and chatting with other like-minded people like we're doing here. It's always a way for you to gain some more attention, potentially get in front of a customer or client,
yeah,
so I think that's a great strategy that, once again, from a money standpoint, it is free. You just have to take the time and the effort to invest into that.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I think that's valuable for sure.
yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on today. Do you have anything else you want to share before we go?
Oh man, that's everything I think I got. But I really appreciate the time. Thanks for letting me jump on here.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, no, thanks for coming. And guys, if you want to learn more about Zach and his brothers' business ventures, just Google the Francis brothers. Like he said, the Francis brothers website will show you everything they've got going on. They've got more than we even talked about on today's episode. So it's a pretty cool story, pretty cool group there. So go check them out. And then as always, go check out our website, theruralpreneur.com, where you can see all of our articles and email newsletters and things of that nature. But other than that, that's all we have for today. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.